some of some of people associate, I still want to strangle them. But, there's a lot of what ifs.
Walk us through those final moments. We stopped at the light. I see some chicks on the curb. Before you know it, a car just rolls up, start hopping in the car.
I never saw Biggie smile until after that. And it was not good hip hop. I'm like, oh,
You likely know about Diddy's 48 hours with Young Beaver, but what if you are told that there was also a time that in just 48 hours did he flip Biggie's entire world upside down? We're talking career moves, personal revelations, and deals that changed the entire rap game forever.
Biggie used to always clown me. You understand? But Big needed him just as much as he needed Big.
But here's the thing, those 48 hours weren't just about success, they were messy, complicated, and full of choices Biggie never saw coming.
Some of people associate, I still want to strangle them.
Some say this was the moment he became the king of New York, while others whisper it was the beginning of the end, what really went down between Biggie and Diddy during that wild, game-changing weekend. And was Biggie's fate sealed right there in those 2 days? Buckle up. Because when hip-hop royalty makes moves this big, nothing stays clean. Life After Death hit #1 on the Billboard 200 on April 12, 1997, skyrocketing from number 176 in just a week, the biggest jump in chart history. The crazy rise came after the album's creator, Notorious B., tragically passed away on March 9, 1997, only 2 weeks before the album's release. Even with his untimely death, Life After Death cemented Biggie's legacy, becoming the third best-selling rap album ever with over 100 million copies sold. Foreign C. Sure, George Laurie Wallace at St. Mary's Hospital in Brooklyn. Biggie was already a rap icon before Life After Death. His debut album, Ready to Die, 1994, flipped the rap scene upside down, bringing the spotlight back to the East Coast. That album played a major role in East Coast rap reign until the late 90s, when other regions started to rise and shake things up in the hip-hop world.
His debut album, Ready to Die, was an immediate platinum hit, selling more than 1 million copies. The CD thrust Biggie into the stratosphere of rap music.
Biggie's came just 6 months after rival Tupac Shakur was K in Las Vegas, throwing the late rapper, his label Bad Boy Records, its founder Shan Combs, and the whole East Coast West Coast beef into the pop culture spotlight. This heartbreaking event changed gangster rap from a niche scene into a mainstream phenomenon that resonated with everyone, including suburban teens who were vibing to CDs and blasting songs on Top 40 radio. In the summer of 1997, a lot of teenagers jamming to hits like Hypnotize and M-Money Mo Problems from Life After Death probably had no clue about the circumstances surrounding Biggie's death, or even that he was gone. They were just caught up in the catchy tunes and infectious beats. Hope no info for after Biggie's passing. Puff Daddy and the family dropped No Way Out, which featured the touching Police sample track I'll Be Missing You with Biggie's widow Faith Evans. This album blew up, becoming one of the best-selling hip-hop albums ever. It even made history as the first rap single to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, paying a heartfelt tribute to Biggie while keeping his legacy alive. The themes and lyrics that define Biggie's music focused on the harsh realities of dealing violence, wealth, and the ever-present shadow of mortality, turned out to be eerily prophetic. Even before the heavy vibes of Life After Death, it felt like Biggie was already wrestling with his own mortality. This was especially clear in the final track of his debut album, Ready to Die, which ends with a gunshot symbolizing a sort of artistic self-destruction. Head P.R. The chamber, the safety is off, release you don't, despite his incredible talent and the tragic circumstances of his such a young age. Just as he was on the verge of superstardom, the case remains unsolved. Biggie was shot after a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, located at the intersection of Wilshire Boulevard and Fairfax Avenue, and no one has ever been charged in connection with his death. The untimely deaths of Tupac Shakur and Christopher Wallace are back in the spotlight, especially after the recent arrest of Dwayne Keith Davis, aka Kefid. He's alleged to have had a role in Tupac's death, which happened in astonishing 27 years ago, when Tupac was shot leaving a boxing match on the busy Las Vegas Strip. Body camera footage from Davis's arrest shows him referring to the case as the most significant one in Las Vegas. History rapper Fat Joe even voiced his concerns to CNN, saying, quote, "We lost two giants Senselessly, that's what bothers me when it comes to Biggie and Pac. We lost two giants over nothing. Shakir's tragic death sent shockwaves far beyond Nevada, casting a dark shadow over Wallace's eventual fate. The big question that still hangs in the air is whether and when anyone will ever be arrested for Wallace's loss. 27 years. For 27 years, the family of Tupac Shakur has been waiting for justice. The homicides of the influential rappers Tupac and Christopher, who initially started as friends and later evolved into rivals, have always been culturally intertwined. This connection stems from the shared time period and the complex circumstances surrounding their lives and deaths. It was almost like the death of Tupac was the first movie, and then Biggie was the sequel. Frank Williams, who produced the 2017 television special Who Shot Biggie and Tupac, told CNN the two biggest deaths in the history of hip-hop. Both Tupac and Christopher came from humble beginnings, growing up in tough neighborhoods and raised by single mothers. They adored these strong maternal figures, had a huge impact on their lives, and were often honored in the music that launched them to fame. Despite facing the law early on, both artists managed to rise above their challenging pasts and become artistic superstars in their craft. They seemed unstoppable, leaving a lasting legacy in the hip-hop world and popular culture.
Okay, all right. Let me see how I'm gonna hit you. You want to set it off? Yeah, I'm scared to do something. I'm scared to do something.
The duo got caught up in the infamous East Coast versus West Coast rap feud in the 90s. This rivalry kicked off when Tupac Shakur, rapping the West Coast, became convinced that Christopher from Brooklyn had a hand in the 1994 shooting that left him with 5 bullet wounds in a Manhattan recording studio. Even though Wallace always denied any involvement and was never formally charged, the tension just kept building. Tragically, both artists ended up victims of fatal drive-by shootings while out with friends during nights of celebration, marking a dark chapter in the hip-hop history.
My uncle had me pissed off, you know what I'm saying? Because first of all, he dissed my man, said my man turned his back on him, and I know for a fact that didn't happen.
A thread connecting the investigations into the deaths of Tupac and Christopher comes from the work of Greg Kading, a now retired detective from the Los Angeles Police Department. In 2009, Kading interviewed Dwayne Keith Davis as a person of interest in the Wallace. B. Davis had been at a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles just before Wallace was tragically shot. Recently, in a transcript from a Clark County grand jury proceeding held last month, retired Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Detective Clifford M.O.G. revealed that investigators had considered a theory linking Tupac's murder to Christopher Wallace's death. While M.O.G. didn't go into detail about the theory, he did testify that Dwayne Keith Davis was not seen as being involved in these tragic events.
They would go on my side, I would fall. They would go.
Reports have suggested a possible connection between Diddy and Tupac's, especially after the reopening of Biggie's case in '06 at the request of his mother, Vita Wallace. This renewed investigation brought attention back to the case, and LAPD Detective Greg Kading discovered new information that hinted at a link between Diddy and the tragic Tupac. A significant development occurred when Vita Wallace filed a lawsuit against the LAPD for around $500 million in damages. She pointed to the widely circulated conspiracy theory that claimed the police had hidden the truth about her son's death. This legal action was a major factor in reopening the case in '06, with Kading leading the investigation. As he dug deeper, Kading unexpectedly uncovered a wealth of new information, offering fresh insights into the circumstances surrounding Christopher Wallace's tragic death.
And I said, who was really the guy behind it? He says, well, we first thought it was this, then we first thought it was that, and we first thought it was this, and everything's going. Then at the end, the conclusion, after multiple conversations with him and different people, it came down to Biggie.
Detective Greg Kading made a significant disclosure during his investigation, asserting his belief that the deaths of the notorious Big and Tupac were intricately connected. While conducting his inquiry into Biggie's tragic demise, he unearthed new evidence that established a connection between both cases. Gandil has also highlighted a pattern within the music industry where powerful figures allegedly manipulate or erase surveillance footage to conceal controversial incidents by powerful figures. It is possible he is pointing towards Diddy, because apparently he has also paid a hotel to remove footage of Biggie being aimed. A syndicated television show host Roger Mills filed a lawsuit against R&B mogul Shep Puffy Combs, his record label Bad Boy Entertainment, and members of Combs' entourage. The legal action, initiated in Wayne County Circuit Court, is seeking unspecified damages. Nils, a resident of Harper Woods, Michigan, asserts claims of asset false imprisonment, destruction of property, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and civil conspiracy against comms representatives of Bad Boy Entertainment and Detroit radio station Which FM. As we have yet to be served with this complaint, we are unable to comment on specific allegations, a comms spokeswoman said in a statement, quote, however, any claim that Mr. Combs participated in any wrongdoing is totally false. Furthermore, facilitating the press with this baseless complaint is a blatant attempt to exploit Mr. Combs' celebrity for media attention. Representatives for Bad Boy Entertainment have issued a statement indicating that they have not yet reviewed the lawsuit and therefore are refraining from making any comments at this time. Attempts to obtain a response from which were unsuccessful. There's a prevailing belief among many that Diddy might have been involved in, leading to suspicions that he tried to cover up footage related to the crime. Rumors have circulated that Diddy had a near-obsessive desire to obtain a death row chain, treating it like a prized possession or trophy. His efforts to snag these chains seemed almost like a game, with promises of rewards for anyone in his circle who could bring them back to bad boy and gang culture. These chains held significant symbolic weight, and Diddy appeared fully aware of their importance. Sadly, this relentless pursuit is thought to have contributed to the tragic deaths of both Biggie and Tupac. Highlighting the dangerous consequences of Diddy's singular focus, gang deal has come forward with claims that Diddy was profiting off Biggie, and that the late rapper had plans to leave the label just weeks before his untimely death. In a chat on DJ Vlad's vlog, deal said Biggie was making moves to jump ship to a new deal worth over $60 million. Deal revealed that he once caught a glimpse of Biggie's Bad Boy contract while tasked with watching Diddy's briefcase during a flight. The contract outlined Biggie's earnings at $250,000 per increment, with the publishing income still under Puff's control. When Deal questioned Biggie about it, the rapper reportedly opened up about a new deal and the substantial cash flow it would bring.
Big had a contract, and what happened was when me and Puff rolled on the plane coming back down there, Puff gave me his briefcase and everything like that.
In his chat with DJ Vlad, Gene Deal also touched on Diddy's apparent obsession with making money above everything else. Deal claimed that Diddy showed a disturbing lack of concern about the possible deaths of Tupac and Biggie months before their tragic incidents. He recounted an episode after the Soul Train Awards when Diddy got upset after overhearing him tell other bodyguards that he had run from death row. According to Deal, Diddy made it clear that his main focus was on business and financial success. After sharing these thoughts, Deal said Diddy ominously hinted at future events by claiming he didn't care about the potential deaths of Biggie or Tupac, nor about whether Knight ended up in jail. Saju 10. If true, these comments offer a controversial glimpse into Diddy's mindset during that time, raising serious questions about his priorities and concerns amid the escalating East Coast-West Coast rivalry, depression, and pushing through it. And as always, big up. One fan wrote, quote, so well-deserved congratulations to Biggie, R.I. Power King. He's so missed and loved. The hip-hop culture will never be the same without him. Nis Wallace has a beautiful spirit, and it's good to see Wayne still there being a friend. Another fan added, the details surrounding Biggie's death remained clouded in uncertainty. Despite a thorough investigation in numerous leads, the case stayed unsolved for nearly a decade. Various theories and rumors circulated, from allegations of police corruption to possible involvement of rival gangs. Some even speculated that people within the music industry had a hand in orchestrating Biggie's death.